All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
and stuff.
Tonight we are jumping into the extreme conversation. That's right. The company that made comic books extreme and better, I might add. We're going to dive into all of that, look at some awesome art, and also have a really awesome guest on. We're going to talk to you all here in about a couple minutes.
I am telling you, it is the definition between an entrepreneur and an employee. The employee goes to the cliff, looks over the cliff, says, is there a balloon down there? Do I be safe? What happens if it clicks? What if I land on my neck? The entrepreneur, they said, when you jump off the cliff, backs up 10 feet to get a fucking run.
This town needs an enema.
Fuck.
Julio! Where's Commissioner Gordon?
Come on, how you guys expect beat me?
Too stupid!
You don't really think you can leave. Things change.
You've got me! Who's got you?
Everything changed. And anyone who tells you different is just lying.
You know who this is? This is Mark motherfucking Sylvester.
All right, let's get rolling tonight. Here we are, ready to rock and roll. Look at that. We did it right. We're getting better at that.
Third time's a charm? Third time's a charm?
Might have been the fourth time. I don't know, third time. I don't know.
Yo, we can't count. We're on special ed, you know?
Can't
We
read,
need
can't
pace.
count.
Nah, we just brought awesome comic books.
That is a fact, my friend. That is a fact. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's having a great time out there tonight. Sean, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. You know, I had a decent day. Talked with Dan. We're going to be redoing the Type 1 campaign on the 22nd. So be here that Saturday. We'll figure out times and dates. We're also gearing up for the 5-year anniversary of Ahrent stuff coming up the 8th of May. So we got a lot going on within the show, within both me and Joey. So things are good, man. Working on pages for Type 1, just trying to get ready for everybody to spend hard-earned money.
That's what I'm talking about. And everybody spend that money. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's say hi to the chat real quick before we get out here. Get out of here. Get going with the show. What are we talking about? Kill the Lore is in the chat. He's number one. Number one in the chat. Number one in our heart. That means you, my friend. Oh, there you go.
You're number one.
There it plays. All right. Technical difficulties. I love it. Mark Penguin, number 2, coming in. I like that. As are we all.
Yeah.
As are we all. And we actually ought to talk when we get Will on here. I want to talk a little bit about Rob's new platform release that he's talking about doing. I think it's actually a really awesome idea. John Nipple's in the house. What's going on, brother?
John, good to see you.
We also have our boy, Chauncey Blakey.
In charge.
In charge. Also,
Lou, you're my boy.
Blue Boy Comics is in the house as hell. Yes, it's time. Yes, sir. Good to see you, brother. Michael Pritchard, what's going on, man? I'm doing good. I am doing good. Heath Ward, Cosmic Studios is in the house. Member of the channel. Oh, it feels so good every time the members are in the chat for the show. Welcome, my brother. We also have Ja Rowe.
Morning.
Good morning, brother. Great to have you here. Black Hat Cinephile. I haven't seen you in a second. Hope all is well. Welcome. We also have Wyatt Eastman, member of the
Nice
channel,
to
says,
see you.
I hear we are talking about awesome. Well, it's all wrapped up, right?
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother. Twisted Dreams, my man. I'm on Darkness Hunt. Those books are impossible to find. Yeah. I would say, yeah, Darkness is kind of hard to find. I agree with you. Of course, we know every time Twisted Dreams is in the chat, we play this.
Subject notes. The extraction theory papers. Am I the only one who did the reading?
You are the only one that did the reading. We also have YSA in the house. Look at that. It says, hey, Joe and Sean, hail the chat. Hail to you, my friend.
Good to
Hope
see
all
you.
is going good.
How you doing?
Billy Basco. Look
Wow,
at that.
long time. Wow,
Look at
good to
that.
see you, Billy.
Ahoy. Hope you're doing well. Also, I don't think I've seen this name in a while either. Smokey the Concat. Hail
Wow.
to the Wizards of Words. Daddy Perdomo.
Okay.
I fucked your name up, Will. Sorry. That's what I do. That's what I do.
We can't read.
We can't read, can't speak, can't do much of anything. Hardly can do a show. But here we go. It's Thursday night. I'm feeling good. Welcome to
Art and Stuff. Your favorite podcaster's favorite show about comics and art and stuff. 25 years in the business and the technicality. Over 40 years consuming and collecting the comic book medium in many formats. Like Norman, my skills are the baits. I might be a little dysfunctional, but I'm functional.
True.
Recklessly charismatic, been killing it since days of B-boy, belt buckles, editor extraordinaire, Hispanic god on paper, smoother than your days in underoos, creator type one, the only one except no duplicates. Cool in the gang, Jersey's finest, Sean Ahrent with me as always. My brother,
very talented, very distinguished, very sexy, always narcissistic but never vain. Staunch defender of Rob Liefeld and Gina Carano, and a lover of all things 90s. Joseph Michael Sonntag, or Joe M Sonntag if you prefer, as the Pope likes to call me, JMS, or as the chat likes to call me, Ronan Joe. Welcome to the show, and as always, an awesome show we have for you tonight. Because who do we have on with us? You're going to handle the last name because I already fucked it up.
We got Will Perdomo.
Is
He's going to be kicking with us?
Okay.
Yeah, Perdomo. It's
all
right
right
there.
You should always just say that. Well, I can't fucking read. All right, Will, welcome to the show.
How do you fuck up my name? It's phonetic. Perdomo.
God, because I'm dyslexic. You know, it looks like I don't know.
It looks like Alma the Merbird. You know.
Yeah.
That's how I know the telemarketer calling me. Is outside Pardima in?
Got Darmex says, what up? Feeling good now. Just got the Kubert School comic paper and sketch cards. Nice.
Cool,
that's awesome.
cool.
That's awesome. Hail the panel. Congrats on Reaper Destroyer, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. That book is going out. We are close to 3/4 of the way fulfilled on that book. So getting out, feeling good. We are launching. We're getting ready to do Reaper Destroyer 2 in July. If you guys just saw the Brett Booth cover, I've been showing up on Twitter or X. Check that out. Very excited for that. Lots of things coming up. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we do have Corey Barton in the house. Got all the talented. That's a fact. Yeah. All the talented artists are in the house tonight. Love it. All right, let's jump into this.
Half of a talented artist.
Yeah, there you go.
The other guy's starting a cult somewhere in the Outback.
Oh shit. Oh, damn.
Okay, I'll take it.
And that's a good point. That's a good point. I haven't seen him in a while.
It's cultic activities, man. He's out there.
You know, I hadn't thought about that till you just brought that up. Now I'm a little worried. Need to check in with Clayton, see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome to the show, man. I think this is the first time or the second time we've had you actually on this show. I know I've been on your channel before.
Yes, sir.
So it's good to have you finally here on Art and Stuff. I know you got a book coming out, but we wanted to come on and talk about the exciting time in comics, specifically Extreme Studios, a subject that's all dear to all of our hearts. We are all in the similar age group here, and it probably had a similar effect on us at the time that it came out. What do you remember of Extreme Studios when it first formed and like kind of what it became? The first, what would you say, 3 years of Extreme were probably the best, you know, probably the most intense, I would say. Yeah, the most exciting. I mean, like how was that for you? And then what are your fond memories of Extreme?
I mean, for me, it's a big part of my life. It's part of my formative life because at 12, as you know, I've had a long friendship with Dan Frega.
Yes.
And that happened at 12. And so that period of comics isn't just a fandom. I was actually there.
Yeah.
So it was a part of it's a part of me. So it's hard to talk about my life in that period without Extreme Studios in it.
I love it.
You know, so I not only was I excited about it and getting into comics in that period, but I was working there at the time. So it's going to be heady for a 12-year-old to 15-year-old to be amongst the people he's idolizing.
You know, I was just gonna say, I keep forgetting that you worked there. Like that's my bad on that one. I keep forgetting. It's one. It's probably because we come from fan points of view all the time, and it boggles my mind when we actually talk to somebody that worked at Extreme. Because my dream growing up, I remember I used to read all the articles we could that Wizard would put out or any other magazine would put out, and they'd have stuff about the Extreme Studios, and they talk about the bullpen, and they'd have pictures, and you'd see Frege, you'd see obviously Liefeld, some of the other guys. And it was always like my dream, and probably Sean's as well. There's like, I would love to have been in that environment, you know, to be there. And, you know, we've talked to Marat, we've talked to Dan, we've talked to Allstetter. Anybody else we've talked to?
Shelby.
Well,
Shelby,
obviously,
Shelby.
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 That's another thing too. Like sometimes I forget that Shelby was there as well. But yeah, it's like, you know,
he's deep Extreme, Shelby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You guys like were living that dream that we wanted, you know, just being in there, being in the presence. So, I mean, yeah, what was that? Obviously you were excited about, but what was that like to just be and see the stuff that you saw going on?
I mean, what's even more funny, because we're going to talk about this later, is Bloodstrike 25. And Bloodstrike 25 is actually what got me there.
Oh, nice.
What got me into Extreme.
That's awesome.
So it was weird when you were saying we're going to talk about Bloodstrike 25, because that is a seminal book because of the idea I got from there to how to get at them. What came out of Bloodstrike 25 from the letters section.
Really? Oh, nice. Yeah, I definitely have to die. It's kind of, I swear Sean's psychic sometimes, because he's just like, this is the book I want to look at. Because we were talking about various books we wanted to check out tonight and trying to find like a good variety of stuff that represented Extreme. And he was like, I think I'm going to do Bloodstrike 25. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That was the issue that, you know, they jumped ahead to issue 25 because they were supposed to be doing this, whatever.
Images of Tomorrow.
Images of Tomorrow, whatever it was.
It's a blueprint that I took for doing the beginning of Type 1. So that's why I chose it. I just stole from Rob and Dan.
Rob
Rob laid it out. Dan penciled and inked it. It's a fantastic book.
So yeah, all that stuff is tied together, but actually we'll dive into that when we get to the book. But it was an overwhelming experience, but it allowed me to jump out of a fandom and get into the professional side of things and actually see how the sausage is made and be near these personalities, for better or for worse, when it comes to, for example, Rob Liefeld. I mean, I was in the heart of his business, and I could now see a guy I highly admired outside of his Stan Lee kind of showmanship and like the guy running a business, and see how people act, and all these much older people, how they're acting. And it helped me get out of it helped me grow up a little bit and see, okay, everybody poops.
These
guys are have just as many foibles as my dad and my cousins, and they lose their tempers. They talk shit. They bust balls. I got my balls busted relentlessly by these guys. Relentlessly, especially by Rob. Rob crushed my balls. He used to call me a fat kid, a born again. Geez. He used to make fun of constantly make fun of my weight because he was a fat kid. Because he was a fat kid too. So he needed to toughen me up, constantly making jokes at me, just messing with me all the time. But it was a good experience because I was around these 20-somethings, and I was like this little mascot with Kite, the other intern that was there, and shit rolls downhill, right? They're just, they're just messing with you, and you kind of learn to get a thick skin.
That's what I was gonna ask about the actual age gap there, because I knew a lot of them were in their early to mid 20s, right?
Yeah,
for the most part, because Extreme was a very young studio comparative to like Wildstorm and Top Cow later on. The Extreme was like the young kids, right? Like they were the young up and comers that I've always heard, like the frat boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they were nuts, dude. They were like the motley crew of Image. I mean, Frege was 21. I think Shelby wasn't much plus or minus that. I think he was actually younger. He's probably like 19.
Yeah.
Rob was only in his mid 20s.
Yeah.
He was a young dude at the time.
And I was there. I was there when Platt had just got hired.
Oh, nice.
So I remember when you walked into Extreme from there was these double doors. One way went to Image Comics, and the other way went to these double doors. And you opened up into a little lobby, and there was a little desk with this lady that I always answer the phone whenever I called. And I'm sure she hated me because I called all the time. She married Danny Miki.
Oh, nice.
She's Danny Miki's wife now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is my mic turned down? You guys hear me? Matt LaRock says you can't hear me.
Turn up. Oh, here. Let me get into. I hear you just fine, but let me.
Yeah. Screw that. We're having fun. No, I'm kidding.
Here, I'll turn you up in the studio and see if that makes a difference. So, guys, let me know if that's too loud or if you can hear him.
And so you would get in there, and behind the receptionist's desk was a big kind of fishbowl, and that was Rob's office.
Okay.
Next door to that was, I think, Marlowe and Platt were in there, and then it went off into the bullpen. And then left was Extreme Color, and like the back offices, and in the way back was like Matt Hawkins and Frege. Frege had that way back office back there.
Did Platt have Bastard like taped to his walls? Because I've heard from Rob Murat shit like he would have the manga Bastard at times just to kind of cipher that on.
To my memory,
I heard it was Finch at times.
To my memory, no. I don't remember what was on his walls. I would just go in and bother and make him sign things, and he'd yell at me.
Nice.
That's
like
awesome.
I'd find something, and I'd find some shit, and I'd just like, okay, walk in, poof, kick open the door. You know, Marlowe would be sitting there inking, and people I'd be like, hey, Platt, sign this. Like, Will, you're killing me.
Dude, that's just hearing that. Like, again, it just makes me so excited just thinking about that, because just hearing of the atmosphere, and that's everything that we loved growing up. And that just takes me back to an era when I was actually collecting comics and just how everything was fun. It was exciting. Like, how was it when Platt got there? I mean, he was coming off of the hot run on Moon Knight. You know, he was a big name. Rob got him going on. And what do you guys think when you first started seeing like the first Prophet pages? You know, because obviously you were seeing them before they were even out there and made. I mean, like, what was the hype about that book? Like when you actually were seeing that being done in person?
It was. I remember the photocopies of his pages were all over the place. The photocopies of his pages were all over the studio, all over the place. And I remember taking out the trash and digging through it, and I would get a bunch of photocopies. And I had a big collection, like a little book. I don't have it anymore, but I had a book of photocopies because I couldn't have the original pages, so I just take the photocopies.
Right. Yeah.
Like example, I have one here that Frege did.
Oh, nice.
Oh, right on.
And what's fun is that this is on stationery.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's
so there
awesome.
It is.
That's
it's a cool little relic, you know.
Yeah, no, that's great. That is great.
And I remember finding. I remember this. It was a late night. I was taking out the trash, and I found that page from Prophet number 7 where Crypt comes out of the portal, and he's doing that.
Yes.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, I didn't say fuck, 'cause I'm a kid, but I'm like, what is this? And I walk up to Frege, what's this? He goes, oh, you're not supposed to, don't show anybody that. You know, no one's supposed to see that. You know, you can have it, but don't show it to anybody. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
You know,
dude, I love that page.
Steroid up Moon Knight. That's awesome.
Dude, that was that. I remember when I saw that page, saw that character, I thought it was the sickest thing I'd ever seen. Yeah, he's just hunched over. He's got the axe or whatever. He's got arrows sticking out of him. Yeah, he came through that portal. Oh man, yeah, that was such a good time. Fuck.
That model sheet that they put in just for ads and like the back of the Extreme books, like all my big brawly guys, like that was my model sheet to copy off of, and then replace whatever to make my own characters. So like that was a study guide for me. All that shit was.
Or the one in the background of Joe's office. Remember the wizard poster? Remember the if you counted the bullets, you could win his character sheet.
Yeah.
You guys can see it. It's up there on the wall.
Right there.
Yeah.
Top.
Right. Yeah.
Nope.
It was the bullet counting contest. You would get, remember it was a character sheet like the one you're talking about, Sean? Remember? With him and Kirby on it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was a prize. I think it was like 336 bullets, something like that.
Jeez, that's crazy.
I counted them. I photocopied it, but I counted them.
Nice. No, dude, that's all that is just it's just I'm so jealous is the wrong word because it's such a long time ago.
Admiring,
Envious.
like envious,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Envious, yeah. You were in a place and time that like our generation wish we were there. We wish we were you, brother. Like that, like you lived that dream. It was fucking dope.
I mean, when Frega said, "Hey, do you want to? It's summer. It's going to be boring, but do you want to come down and intern? 3 or 4 times a week?" And it's and he thought it was like a bullshit thing, and I'm like, "Oh, sure, yes, Frega, I'd love to do that. It'd be really cool. Thank you, thank you.
Cool.
I'll take some time out of my doing nothing summer to go help you out."
Yeah, he said
Right.
he said it would be boring. Oh man, that would just good lord.
Not in my book.
No, when you think of all the names that came out of Extreme Studios, of people that would go on and do big things in the industry, obviously, you talking about Platt and stuff, but also like the inkers, you had Mickey, you had Ratman, you got Masuda. I mean, just all the names is crazy. Obviously, Fraser Moran. Yeah,
Oh,
yep.
Chap.
Oh
Yeah,
man, dude, we were just talking about him not too long ago on an Art and Stuff show. We're like, man, we missed that dude. As far as him
Yeah.
doing work in the industry, like he was a guy that we really loved in the '90s. All the stuff he did for Extreme, like I wish he was still drawing.
The last thing
to
I
this
saw
day.
him do was that one-page Vans ad, and this is after like Bad Rock, Wolverine, Avengers.
Yeah,
like the end of Maximum Press. Like he was phenomenal.
So many of them would make quantum leaps. Like I don't know if you remember, but a guy like Chap, when you're reading Team Youngblood, like his art was a little crude, and then he did number 6, that Bad Rock versus Overkill, like snow fight, and his art just like changed to something wholly new.
Leveled up.
Like hardcore leveled up. It was like that period where Greg Capullo, I think it was when Spawn got the new costume. Do you remember the first new costume?
Yeah,
and
32.
It was a quantum leap. He changed his art, and it was like a new level up for Greg.
Yep. I loved watching artists grow up in that sense back in the 90s and see their improvement over periods of time. And you couldn't help but get better with everybody else, all the talent that's around you, because and that's the thing I think that is missing today in a lot of young artists or the industry in general is there's no more bullpens. There's no more, in-person drawing where you can actually see the next guy next to you. What's his technique? How is he drawing something, and learn from each other and get better, or have the mentors like Rob or Mark or Jim, over your shoulders, walking through, giving you tips and stuff, And so that period of time, I think, is special because that was one, the last couple decades there where it kind of got phased out and more people just started doing freelance stuff, working from home. And now everything is from home,
Right. Well, two stories about that. One, I have something here to share, which is really cool. And speaking of people who came out of Extreme, Matt Hawkins now basically holds the lighthouse for Top Cow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So one day I was cleaning the floor near his office, and he goes, "Will, I got to go into a meeting. My office is a mess. Can you clean it for me, please? And then I want you to go through all the comics I have, like the Extreme books, and organize them. And whatever doubles are there, you can have them."
That's awesome.
I'm like, fuck yeah. And he had like, okay, remember back in the day when the gold editions were like that was top of the line?
Oh,
he had all that. He had all that, like
nice.
triples, quadruples. So I was taking Strike File,
dude.
I was taking Brigade, all the gold ones.
Jeez, yeah.
What I found that was really cool was the gold version of the Extreme Tour book.
No!
Oh, nice.
That's what's
Look
up.
at that.
And I walked around that day and walked around. This is the book that got me almost yelled at by Platt saying, "You're killing me."
Oh, nice.
I walked in and said, "Sign this." And Platt signed it.
That's so awesome.
There's Platt right there. There's the one going, "You're killing me, Will."
That's so cool.
That's so awesome. Yeah, first of all, the cover is great, but just seeing the fact that you got everybody to sign it, man, that's dope, dude.
Yeah, because I just walked around.
That's
damn, man.
Good lord.
You got Logan Libero right here. He drew a little prophet,
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that now. Yep.
There's Frega with his little grass skull. There's Shelby down here.
Nice.
Rob, weirdly enough, I couldn't find Rob, so I have 2 of these. I have one with just Rob's signature and this one.
Hey, there you go.
Dude, that is so awesome.
I thought you guys would like that one.
Now I'm jealous. I was envious before, but now I'm definitely jealous.
I remember Frega, he's like, "Dude, this is like a prize." When I brought it back to him, when I got everyone's signature, he's like, "Dude, this is like a straight up prize you got here." He couldn't believe it.
Yeah, there's nobody else in the world that's got all those signatures on that book. Like, that is a one of a kind thing. I mean, unless somebody had no, there's just nobody. That's it. That's awesome, man. That is
I
awesome.
mean, they would all have to be there, and that's the whole studio right there. And then what was the other story I had for you guys that was out of here that was interesting? I'm sorry, I lost it. It was something relating to what you guys were saying.
Well,
This is the interesting thing. This is what is different about then as of now. And we'll go into this more when we go into the Bloodstrike book and how I met Frege. Is back then there was still a strong encouragement for it to be a apprenticeship. You know, like if you wanted to get in, it was encouraged that you meet somebody in the industry and getting good with them so they can teach you how to be in it, whether it's an editor, an artist, a writer, whoever.
Right.
And that was encouraged. And what I was doing was how you're supposed to do it. That's how
Yeah.
Frege did it. That's how Rob did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how Kirkman did it. Exactly that. Just meet somebody. You met Eric Larson and it's like, try me to the airport.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
But Marat met Rob, and Marat was what I was to Frege to Rob.
Yeah.
He was his studio, gopher, and then became his best friend, and they're still friends to this day.
Yeah.
But it wasn't frowned upon to call Extreme and get with no shame in your game, get your foot in the door. Now you do that shit. One, you can't get anyone, and if you go to there, they're going to arrest you.
Yeah. Jeez.
I tried something like that, and it's kind of like the origin story for Type 1, where do you remember when Mario Lopez had the show called it's like Choose Your Adventure shit?
Yeah.
So this one kid's wish was to go to Extreme.
Really?
Rob drew his character. Yeah, it's on Rob's one of his live feeds in Instagram. Not live feed, but like a story, whatever. It's in the videos. And anyway, this is back in like 93, 94. And the kid got to go. Rob drew his character with Bad Rock. And I'm like, I wish I could have my character drawn with Bad Rock. So I got sick as a kid and I became a diabetic. So I'm an opportunist. I'm the biggest opportunist you're ever going to meet. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to write a letter to Make-A-Wish. So I wrote a letter to Make-A-Wish and I gave it to my doctor. And my doctor's like, what's this? I'm like, it's my wish. He's like, you're what? I'm like, it's my wish. And once he realized what I was trying to do, he's like, that's not how this goes. I'm like, I'm showing her. It's right there. I want to meet Rob Liefeld. Like, come on. But things work out like I think for whatever reason, and then like 10 years later, I thankfully got to become friends with Rob, and like those memories are very sacred to me. But as a kid, I wish I was that fucking kid going to Extreme, learning from everybody, like you had the shit. Like that's awesome.
Also, my mother, you got to remember, I'm 12. I can't drive. So my mother drove me an hour or nearly one way, dropped me off, and then picked me up at night.
Shout out.
God bless your mom. That's awesome.
Shout out to your mom. That's some awesome dedication.
For 3 summers, she did this.
For 3 summers. Wow.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing too, is like everybody I remember getting into the industry, they got in that way, or their origin story was similar to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they got their foot in the door. And it's just so sad that you can't do that anymore. You know, like I remember when I was first trying to break into the industry, I was hitting the cons, I was trying to get my work looked at by editors or whatever. But even at that time, it was kind of over. That era of getting into a company and just at the ground level of doing just whatever and working your way up was over. And this was like mid 2000, like 2004, you know, when I first started getting out there and actually trying to get my work out. And it was such a different world from everything I had read from when I was a teenager getting into my early 20s. But now it's just that's just out of the way. Like I remember somebody was I was talking to somebody a few years ago about getting my work to look at Marvel, and they're like, all right, well, this is what you have to do, you know, like email this person, send a portfolio, do all that stuff. And it's like, man, it's really just impersonable, you know, and like you send the stuff out, you might never even get an answer, which I never did get an answer back. But like that's like the closest I think you can get, unless you just happen to strike it at the right moment at a convention where somebody sees you and like, yeah, you know, but that's very rare these days.
I mean, well, also there's not really that kind of access anymore because, like you said, there's no brick and mortar stuff. There's no place you can go work. It's all owned by a corporation. It's all done remotely. Also, okay, unlike now, where people would think that there's more access because of Twitter, the mystique of creators is kind of gone, and you have direct access to them in a very negative way.
That's a good point.
Yeah, where your bullshit can really get toxic on them, as opposed to being in person, where there's a respect, there's a hierarchy, a direct hierarchy, as opposed to I'm an anon. I feel, betrayed by something you did, and I'm just going to talk about your family or something. It's like,
right?
It's very toxic now.
Very.
Yeah, social media ruined a lot of things. As much as there is some good stuff when it came to it, as far as connecting. Like Sean and I probably would never have met if it wasn't for MySpace, and I met his brother-in-law. And that led to me and him meeting, a year later or something like that. So stuff like that does happen. That's good, but for the most part, it's such a toxic environment now that does not really lead to that kind of. Plus everything you say, unfortunately, is on the internet.
Yes.
So if you trying to get a job with someone and someone just wants to Google you or check you out on whatever platform, and they just scroll down your page and they're like, "Oh, not going to hire this dude because blah blah blah." It's unfortunately.
He called that guy a taco back in 2009. What does that even mean?
I'm like, thank God, man. Thank God I'm old and there's nothing about me prior to 5 years ago on the internet.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
You might like
Don's
this.
in the house.
You might think, oh, hey, Don, you might think this is really funny, but I was there when Heroes Were Born was kicking off. And what was fun is that being small, like a hobbit, like a burglar, nobody's noticing. You creeping around and listening and pretending to clean outside of an office when a phone call is happening.
Right.
And I remember I was there the day that Jim called Rob to kind of give him some pointers on his Captain America.
Oh, really?
And
no shit.
He was on the phone, and he's like, I think so. According to other people, I couldn't hear Jim, but I could hear Rob. And I know Jim said something like, what's going on with that chest? What are you doing there? And he's like, dude, it's godlike. He's God. He's big. And he was trying to cope with it and like give all his reasoning, but Jim was not having it. He's like, what are you doing with that chest, man?
There's an add-on to later on that day. Somebody, I won't say who it was, but somebody came in and was telling Rob that like he needed more work, bills, whatever. And Rob wrote that guy a check with many zeros on it and was like, "Don't need to pay me back." So like, I'm just like, God bless him, like God bless him. Like that was awesome. Like, you hear that type of shit, and people talk shit about it, but like I know Rob is Rob. We all have a different relationship with him, but
I love Rob.
I just thought that was just a really beautiful human experience. You put my faith back in humanity.
It was funny, and it was funny listening to that exchange.
Oh, I bet. Well, especially when you think about coming from Jim, because Jim is a very good anatomy artist, right? Where Rob was really good at like the Kirby extremisms, just the dynamic extremity of drawing comics. And I can understand where that's a funny story because I can think of the image you're talking about. I'm assuming you're talking about like the quote unquote cat tips or the cat tits.
Guys, that was the cover of the program to that year of San Diego Comic-Con. That was on the cover of the program.
I remember that being all over the place. I remember that. I remember that image, and just thinking now what Rob's thinking, like, you're just this big bulging, he extremed it, like pun intended, like he just pushed that to the extreme. And to me as a kid, like I love that stuff. When I was younger, I wasn't so much into the critique of art that nowadays our society is with social media, where everything gets picked apart and everybody's an art expert now online. Like that's just the way it is. Back in the day, it was just kind of like, oh, that's cool. It's the fuck.
And that's why we gravitated to Rob when we were kids.
Yeah. Very anime, very manga, very, very animated, like all around, like not just anime, like Japanese anime, but is animated. It was extreme, like Joe just said. Like I thought, like Fist of the North Star. Like when I saw that, how powerful that was, I was like, I want to draw my characters as big and powerful as that. That's cool. We need to go back to that real school of cool.
It's funny you should say that too, because I remember this was before the internet, where it was easy to get things, and like I used to notice that in the studio they all were very covetous of their art books. They had their names on it. They had ways of tagging it so they couldn't steal it. So Frege always had his on on the spine. It said Frege,
right?
Yeah.
And there was one book that was going around everywhere, and people were trying to find it. And I remember when I got a copy of it because I lived near a Japanese market that had a bookstore.
Oh, nice.
And it was the Capcom, the Art of Capcom.
Yes.
Remember the black cover?
Yep.
Yeah.
And when Frege found out about it, he drove his ass down to where I lived to buy that book because they couldn't find it. And it was like he was the only guy in the studio that had it.
Nice.
And people would want to grab it because that's where they're getting references from.
Mm-hmm.
That one thing,
Intron Depot too. That was a big one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's I love the fact that back in the day, and I didn't realize this as a kid, obviously, but the fact that they were maybe not primarily responsible, but they were a big reason why that kind of manga design style came into comics around that time.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, made the imagery way better, even today. So I was talking to somebody about back in the 90s. Remember, like you would read a comic, whether it was Jim Lee doing X-Men or into Wildcats and Rob X-Force into Youngblood and all that kind of stuff. Everything they did looked a little slightly futuristic, right? Yep. The vehicles, the bikes, the weaponry, all that kind of stuff. It had that tone because they were bringing in that manga anime feel into comics. And now all that stuff is gone. And I think it's
around
missing.
that time when manga, remember the tape company. Remember that was doing like Ninja Scroll and Akira and Organ.
Yep.
All that stuff was making its way. That the cream of the crop was making its way.
Yeah.
Right at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I think I love the 90s so because it captured one pulp culture so well. But I think it established in my mind the look of what comic books should be visually. And when you look at comics nowadays, even some fantastic art and artists out there and all that stuff, I think what's missing is kind of that edge because you don't have any of that in comics for the most part. They might have some manga influences as far as art style or storytelling or whatever, but a lot of the weaponry or technology seems to be tampered down. Like they don't want to go so sci-fi as they were not afraid to do that in the 90s and push the limits. And that was what was cool because it was a true fantasy. You jump into a comic book world and it's a fantasy world. Besides just superheroes and all that stuff, there's so many things going on where you're like, man, I want to live in this world. And I think that's missing. Like that tone is absolutely missing in today's comics, at least for me. And I'm getting old.
Imagination wells dried up, apparently, essentially.
Well, I don't think it's that, guys. I think that was the 90s, right? Like you had the diehards. That was the time of the big budget action film and high concept film.
True.
Across all mediums. And then I can see where exactly it shifted into ultra realism. You remember when Saving Private Ryan came out?
Yeah.
And suddenly after that, every action film was hyper realistic.
That's true. It's like, that transfer somewhere in the 90s there where it went away from the big bombastic stuff to the more cinematic. Realistic.
Matt LaRock is right. Realism is taken over and it's gone from fantasy high concept to realism.
Yeah. And we're still kind of in that realism stuff, which I hate. I mean, some of it's fine, but that's not to me what comics should be.
Nope.
Comics are the exaggerated realism. It's the fantasy world. It's the, can we think it? Let's put it in there and let's just go with it,
Mm-hmm.
And I just hold the 90s in such high regard when it comes to the comic books because of that. And I still think it's untouched over the last 20 some odd years, almost 30 years since those guys were really, think about that moment in time when you really, really think about it. All those names that were creating, drawing, writing comics in that moment of time, like that 10-year period of late 80s to the late 90s, there's a mass amount of just superstar talent just in the industry. It's untouchable. It will never be like that again. You can't compare it to any other decade going forward since the 90s. It just has not happened. I doubt it will ever happen again. And I know I feel like it's like the old, like back in my day, but I really think it's the complete truth. It is absolutely the truth. You had Jim, you had Rob, you had Todd, you had Mark, and then all the guys that came after that with, Platt and Booth and Finch and Turner and go down the line. It's just the amount of talent in that period of time was insane.
I think we could compare it probably to the transition from the 70s, 80s, 90s in terms of cinema, where in the 90s we had the auteur decade of filmmakers where studios were investing in Martin Scorsese, Brian De Palma, Michael Cimino, and they Billy Friedkin. They were like, we want to make these movies by these men. Steven Spielberg. We're not making a movie. We're making these men's visions.
Right.
And then and then it has that crescendo with Godfather and Apocalypse Now, and then you get a Heaven's Gate, and then the whole thing comes crashing down. The corporation come in and say, "Basta, no more auteurs. This is a business. You guys are working for us." And I think the same thing happened in comics.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, no, that is. Yeah, because you see it, not only in comics, and I said this before, but in the 90s, it was comics, it was music, it was movies, it was like all of entertainment was vision. That's a great way to put it. It was these people's visions, these creators' visions, the band's musical vision, the directors, the writers, and then, when the corporations came in, formula stuff came in, we're like, you got to be safe now, where that's what we're doing, and it killed the creativity all across the board in entertainment, and, that's what we can try to bring back now in the independent scene is we're doing stuff.
Yes.
It's like we're trying to bring that feel back with our stuff, but it's just at least we can sit here and reminisce about a lot of that stuff. Extreme Studios being one of them. Sean, while we're talking here, while we're cruising here, why don't you pop up some of these books and we'll just cruise through this art while we're having this conversation about Extreme.
I got Youngblood up first. We'll do Bloodstrike 25 after that, and then we'll do Prophet 1 Volume 2. Then let me just get this here.
I found this signature, by the way. You guys might like.
Oh shit!
This one has Dan Panosian, and then I
nice.
remember Platt was walking away, and he's like, "I don't got time for this." And I said, "Sign it," and he did it in blue, right down here. Cool. You can barely see it. But
no,
that's cool. Okay,
that cover, man. Woo!
Yeah, that was a powerful cover.
So obviously you can't talk about Extreme Studios without talking about Youngblood 1, which is the first Image comic book in general to hit the shelves. Go back to get the anime boobs out of there.
Sorry.
I want to get this struck.
Okay, you know what you might have to do is because somehow this site reformatted itself to only doing 1 page per.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fucking as of yesterday, this site sucks.
They probably know that we're the ones that look at it.
Yeah, they're like, you can't save this image. I'm like, oh man, but I bought 10 copies my whole life.
Yeah. I was just gonna say the amount of Image comic books I have in my physical collection, multiple different books, is because obviously I bought a lot when I was a kid, but anytime I go to the comic book store and if I see something sitting there in the friggin' 50-cent bin now, I don't give a shit. Like I pick it up. I buy anything that I remember from the 90s, and it's ridiculous how many I have.
I have quite a few copies of this one. Quite a few.
Oh yeah.
So
I can't not scroll up without getting to the next page.
All right, you scroll up. I'll just keep bouncing it back off.
Okay.
It is what it is.
I'm just gonna go to page 1. We're not gonna do credits or anything like that because we know who made these books. We're just gonna look at the pages of the art.
Were you guys coveting those comic book greats? VHSs?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
With Rob,
I just made a post like the other day, like before YouTube. That's what we had.
Yeah, and you would scan every bit of those things, especially the Rob and Todd one. Oh, sexy! The kids love change.
It's actually a couple years ago. I went to visit Sean, and all we did is sit there and get high and watch the freaking comic books greats with the Rob one, the Todd one, the Rob and Todd one, the Jim one. And that was all we did, just kind of get there and nostalgic trip with it. It
was a beautiful experience. It was so cool, man. We watched like other videos that were of the same caliber, but it was just so like we didn't grow up together, but like we grew up together if that kind of makes sense, like with our interests, our hobbies and all that. But that was just beautiful just to look to my right, like we're both thinking the same shit. And we're like, pass that to me,
Hey, Sean, if we're just doing 1 page at a time, just hit like some of the awesome pages.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Since we can't do our usual scroll, it's not letting us do that anymore.
Okay, here we go. This one's a fucking
beast.
Ooh, yeah, that's a nice one.
All these gestures, like even these background gestures, are fucking impactful and powerful. Like that, you're gonna see in Type 1 for sure. Like I fucking swipe that shit, but I drew it myself. So
all the Robisms are present.
Oh yeah.
Especially his design elements are all there.
Yeah, that's it.
Him, Kirby, Cockrum, like yeah, Larson too, but like mostly like those three guys are like my Burn are really my Mount Rushmore of visually comic book creatings, if that makes sense. Like who I go to riff off of, because look at Combat, like that's an anime guy, you know.
Yeah,
and I love it.
I mean, yeah, the guys in the 90s, I studied so much during that time growing up as an artist, you know, like all the guys, all the poses, all the stuff, you
Oh
know.
yeah,
And
it's in our minds. Like we do it subconsciously, I think now.
yeah. Art Adams.
Unfortunately, the artist edition got pushed back. So
Oh, did it?
Oh, did it?
yeah, till late summer.
I did not see that announcement.
Well,
I've
if
got
that's
that,
not Image, I don't know what is. So,
it's on on Amazon now. It says like July or August. Now.
Okay.
You know what? I stopped doing stuff on Amazon because of the Spawn Greg Capullo pushback.
Is it not out?
I haven't seen it, and they canceled my order.
Me too.
Okay, so they must have just stopped it and not made an announcement, because I got the announcement, or I got an email saying this has been canceled, and I was like, who the fuck canceled it?
Yeah.
I was pissed, and I couldn't get a hold of anybody at Amazon. And I talked to a couple other people; they got theirs canceled as well. So for this edition of the Youngblood edition, I went through a bookstore. I can't remember what it was, but I bought it through a bookstore. I pre-ordered it, so now I'm just waiting to get it. But I was like, man, I don't know if it was Amazon or if it was McFarlane Productions that canceled it, but I hope they get that back out, because I was really looking forward to that.
Hey, I just bring this up real quick. The Don says Joe Shaw trying to get 90s artist Matt Broom on the studio. Is that the Matt Broom that worked at Wildstorm, or is that the Matt Broom that from the early 2000s that drew kind of like Roger Cruz? Because I got talented guy. I got stories about a book that my brother-in-law was a part of, that we did take some schmuck to small claims court.
Oh
anyway,
shit!
Yeah.
All right. Story for another time. I like it.
But look how powerful it is.
You know, by the way, looking at this art, I remember I was working the Extreme booth at the San Diego when we did Heroes Reborn, and I remember I was supposed to be selling Rob's art. So it was
nice.
like in the booth, there was just one section where there was just piles of his shit. And do you remember the Youngblood Year One cover that he did?
Yeah.
That
poster?
Yeah. You know how much that was?
The original art?
Yeah.
7?
Well, so back in the 90s, I guess.
2000?
$800.
No shit.
That's
how much it was tagged. $800, like piles of shit that now would be probably like 50 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, anybody that bought original art back in the late 80s, early 90s got steals.
Oh yeah. Like Gareb Sheamus, you know, getting the #1 Spider-Man cover from McFarlane for some stupid baseball cards.
Yeah, but which baseball cards? Like, was it a Mickey Mantle? Like,
whatever it was, you know, Todd probably thought, like, yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, bud.
What is that cover worth?
You know, it's got to be worth something good.
Millions. Has to be.
It's got to be. I don't know. Has it ever sold, or has it ever gone up for sale?
Well, the one he did, that Spider-Man Hulk cover, he's punching up. That was what?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, my great artist, Krager? Welcome.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. What's going on, brother?
Doing?
Good to see you, man.
That was $850,000 for that. You know, that cover.
God bless.
So
yeah, Rob's old stuff, and Sean and I talk about this all the time. Like, my favorite era of Rob is probably 96 or something like that.
Youngblood #2 was my favorite.
I loved the style though. His older style, as he's still kind of coming up, but he had a lot of everything in place for popularity before he started kind of like when he started working with like Sabal and Mickey. You know, their inks, I thought, brought something, another dynamic to Rob's art. Not that it wasn't Rob, because it was Rob and he was just doing different stuff. But going back to like when he was doing Youngblood, X-Force, when he was inking himself, there's just something really fun about this style of art that still just takes me back. I remember as a little kid sitting there reading these books and just being in awe of the art. It just it's still that's why I love doing shows like this. We can look
I
at this.
really like how clean Danny made this stuff look.
Yes, that image
Preach it.
right there. Oh, I love it. I had that on my wall. I don't know if they made a poster of that, but I feel like they did. I had that. But yeah, it was clean. It was slick. Sabal kind of did the similar thing with his inks over Rob's stuff. But yeah, that's what it did.
Cap.
Yep,
oh yeah.
yep.
Again, like I was saying, I was a big fan of Chap. How you
That's
pronounce that?
That's what I appreciated about Mickey was how clean he would make it. Yeah, Chap Yape.
Yape. Okay. Yep.
Yape,
yeah. And that's I think Rob really benefited from that kind of clean hand from Mickey and clean hand from Sabal when he was coming through. You know, obviously Rob still inked the faces and stuff, but that was probably my favorite era of Liefeld's art because it just I don't know. There were times where I thought his art was kind of rivaling Jim Lee's at the time.
Oh yeah.
There was times where just because the slickness became good, the detail was there, the way that they did lighting on the faces. I mean, some of the lighting that Bad Rock would have on his face, like the close-up shots that they did at Extreme was so awesome.
I mean, I don't think I'm in a minority in saying that when it comes to Jim, I think his apex was Extinction Agenda.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think that's his apex. That's Apex Jim.
I'm with
you.
Jim.
I'm sorry, Jim. Okay, yeah.
No, not Rob. Definitely not Rob.
Jim. Okay.
See, and you know what? A lot of that mech designs, like those cool mech designs, those were all laid out and designed by Carl Alstater.
Really?
Yeah. So shout out to Carl on that one. Like he's what made that cool. Like those bikes, those big mech robots. You know.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know. Iconic covers like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know,
Jim's X-Men Uncanny X-Men run was definitely untouchable in my opinion. My favorite era when you talk about Apex to me, I think is X-Men 1 and 3 and Wildcats 1 through 5. That is my Apex for Jim Lee's art because there's just something about those books that just awe me to this day.
I agree with the Don too. That Shi'ar arc was that's when I first discovered Jim and first discovered X-Men. And that stuff was
beautiful.
Chef's Kiss. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. In fact, like if you get that Jim Lee
it's in
artist edition, a lot of that stuff is in there and it's just gorgeous looking.
Especially that beautiful Savage Line cover that we all love with Jim Nick Fury and Kazar.
Yep.
And Rogue and Magneto.
Good stuff.
I love 269, I think it was. The one with Ms. Marvel and Rogue. Inked by R. Adams. That's one of my I had dinner with Rob like maybe a decade ago. And he was telling me stories about it, like inside shit. And it was just like, wow, that's fucking awesome. And he's like, that's one of my favorites as well. I'm like, high five. Because we shared like cheese sticks.
I'm glad they're all in there in that artist edition. All the best covers are in there.
We got Rick Saylor in the house. Remember the channel? What's going on, brother?
Hey,
good to see you.
Saylor, how you doing?
Dude, jump to the double page spread of the first time we see Youngblood from the flip side, the first part of the flip side of the book.
Okay, give me a bit.
You got Bad Rock, Shaft, Vogue, I think is in that.
Yeah,
and then
take some time.
No, it's all right. You do your thing.
But do you have any other cool
Maromi's
stories?
In the house. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Maromi? You have any like just seeing a certain page kind of get crafted from beginning to end?
A bunch of them. I'm saving a lot for when we talk about Bloodstrike 25.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm like, because of the weird situation with this site, I was like, just show some of the good stuff and let's move on to
okay.
I saw that shit all the time. I saw Jeff Matsuda working. I saw Shelby working. I saw Byron Tallman coloring. I saw all that stuff every day.
Nice.
Were you there? Was Kiko still there when you were there, or did he dip out by then?
Don't remember meeting him.
Okay.
Danny all the time because he was always smiling.
Yeah.
You're just always in a good mood.
I got a chance to do some DM conversations with Danny not too long ago, and he was just one of the sweetest dudes, and this was just interaction through DMs, but just a really cool dude to talk to, and he was very, very kind with me, talking about certain things and just letting me have these paragraphs of content that I would send him, and he would respond. So I got a lot of good things to say about Danny Mickey.
That's the big screen of my shelf if you want to see it.
Yeah, look at that.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's
That's how I collect Invincible myself. I think that's a great way to not only get the content and material,
Sin
but
City
probably
down
the
here.
best way. Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
I
right
just
there.
Oh, where is it at? I just got the oh, hold on a second.
I'm holding.
What up, Snuggly?
All right, I had to go far away from the desk.
Sorry,
Snuggies.
Okay,
this is my corner, my office corner.
The office, yeah, beautiful thing. I just got this the other day that I really love. This hardcover.
Those old '90s ones.
Oh, cool.
Just the oops. Yeah, there's such a. Hopefully, there's no nakedness in here.
Here's one I have.
Yeah,
which
I'm
is I think
through that and checking that out.
This is the definitive one, in my opinion. Is this one?
Oh, nice, man.
Where they came in these beautiful, like.
Oh shit! Yeah.
These are from the mid '90s.
Yeah.
So
that's
these
awesome.
Ones, these were. I mean, I have the other ones there, but this is what they look like, and these are my favorite iterations of the Sin City hardbacks.
Those are cool.
Were those ones?
Got Snuggie Jr. in the house. Yo,
it's our guy. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for coming by.
You're welcome,
All
Piece
right.
of Dreams.
This is what I was talking about. First book, Young Blood. You have the flip side, or the first side that you flip through before you get to like what would become, I guess, Team Young Blood.
The away team, yeah.
Yeah, but you get this shot. And again, 90s comics, this is the first book that drops some Image, the hype about this book, about the independent book. You know, we got Rob Liefeld coming off of just a stellar run of New Mutants to X-Force.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out with this book. And you just got to see these badass character designs and just awesome spreads. And it just felt like something new, felt like something awesome when you got into this era. And this always sticks out in my mind. Like the first time you see the team, double page spread, just in your face.
Great gestures.
Just so good.
Like this is animated. Like it's 2-dimensional, but this is like looking at an animation frame or a still. Like, I don't know, man. It's just like the buildings, the perspectives. Like, this is comic books. This is raw. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, this is what I miss. Yeah, that Chapel character. Chapel was a badass character design, taking that skull, like the Punisher skull kind of aspect, and putting it on his face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was the first thing I always thought when I looked at that character. But just fun shit, man. Like I just miss the freedom.
New philosophy of color too. Now you're seeing.
Yeah.
Who colored this?
Digital is starting to make its way in, like the Steve Oliff kind of school of coloring is starting to make its way in.
Yeah. Did Rob bring anybody over from Marvel with the colors on this?
I don't remember who colored the first one.
I can't remember either.
I don't think Extreme Color was in place yet.
Yeah, I don't think it was either.
By 2 or 3, I think, maybe. Because I know by 4 is when they did the new paper and the new coloring.
Yeah, it's when they kind of did the whole switch.
It was within a year. Like it was fast.
Didn't like Joe Russis come over with Jim Lee on the first few Wildcats books?
Yeah.
I think, so he kind of like brought that team to Wildcats originally. So I wasn't sure if this was like a, an X-Force colorist at the time. I haven't gone into that deep,
Fuck, Studio something, not Avalon.
This is when we need to have Andrei Kromov in the chat.
Oh, Dre? Yo, that guy's awesome. He's a. I remember reading shit about him in the back of like the books, and they're like, he calls himself Dre, even though people don't call him Dre, and it's like, and then you become like Facebook friends. He's such a good guy.
Dre.com for a long time.
Really?
And he let it laugh. Could you imagine if he still owned Dre.com?
That would be hilarious.
You get some of that Beats money.
Yeah, like how much? No, they would probably pay him for the domain. Easy.
They'd have to. Yeah.
I want to get to Bloodstrike 25.
Yeah, get to that. We'll cruise through that. The Don says no strings on Shaft's bow always fucked me up. Did they ever explain that? They probably did. They probably did, but I always thought it was just cool. Like what's a string going to do when you're drawing it? You know, you draw a line, right? But the futuristic thought process of like, you don't need a string. You know, like you have a futuristic bow and arrow that can be drawn or have any kind of impact without that string. Like, I actually thought that was a cool idea. And why spend time drawing, having to fit that little tiny little line in there? It'd be lost anyway. But I don't know if they ever did explain it or not.
No,
It doesn't really matter.
He
Yeah.
didn't give a shit. Okay, here we go.
Let's
This-
jump into it.
This-
Now we're going
this
to get
is-
into some story time.
Yeah, this is perfect. I love this book. I love that it became a one-man like army. And again, everything about this was a big blueprint for the first opening for Type 1. Don't be a bum back Type 1 on Indiegogo and fund my comic right now. Okay, cool. It's over. Is it so cool?
Because it's cool, Rick.
Yeah, well,
Why have a
speaking
bow
of Dre,
then? Because it's
Look.
cool.
There he is, Andre.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there you go.
Is he in the chat?
No, he's right there on the.
No,
Oh,
in
in the colors. I'm like,
colors,
oh my
yeah.
god, it's like no, because like sometimes we bring up like stuff and like people appear like
Oh, he's never
Phil
mine.
Diaz,
Yeah.
like, Lobo, and then there's Phil. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I got to pay Dre with a check. You know, he's like he's boomer like that.
So quick little backstory with this issue, guys. If you didn't know, Image did this thing which was like a jump ahead, or what was it called, Sean?
Images of Tomorrow.
Images of Tomorrow. That's right. Where they were trying to do this promotion of jumping up to like a certain, like to number 25s in their book. I don't know if everybody did it. Rob might have been the only one that actually went through and ended up doing it.
Well, Jim did it, but it was Rob's idea, and then Jim was pissed that Rob did it, which makes no sense.
Yes, they both had the
okay.
idea.
Okay.
I remember.
Okay, but
One that they all did was when they switched books.
The
Remember?
X month.
the X month, yeah. That was because of Age of Apocalypse, which was awesome. Which is great because like that just showed like other companies were doing innovative stuff, and they're like, "Nah, we could make our dicks bigger. We're gonna switch books." And
I just thought it was cool to see what
Thank you, Smokey.
Jim Lee would do with Eric Larson's book, and what Eric Larson did with Jim Lee's book. You know, it was fun.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. The funny thing about this is Bloodstrike actually never even made it to 25.
Nope.
Yeah.
Which is the funny thing. So I remember when I was a kid,
18,
and
I think it got to.
22 or 23.
I was
Almost.
searching. I was searching for
almost.
so long for those
Mhm.
issues and I could never find them. And I was just like, why can't I? Because I wanted to complete my collection, because I started collecting Bloodstrike after it had ended. Because I had the early issues, but I never. So like I collected the first 4 issues when Dan was on, and then I kind of Dan Frege, and then when he jumped off, and it was whoever the artist was that followed him
Segman,
next.
I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Was it Segman that took over?
I
think
can't
so.
remember.
I think so. I drew that
I'm just
one
gonna go with
issue
that.
with Supreme where he rips
where they
open
get
their guts.
Yeah, they just get demolished.
I drew that one of those pictures and I brought it to youth camp like that Sunday night and showed my pastor, and he's just like,
He's like, you got to go.
I was so proud of myself, like it's like, yeah, you go to church and show this shit. But if you look, that's Streets' canon. Like
so many design elements, right?
Yeah.
Have been taken from Extreme Studios, and which in turn were inspired by anime, Appleseed, and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got Mike in the chat. Look at that, Mike
Mighty
McMahon.
Mike McMahon.
up,
What's up, brother? Good to see you.
What's going on, brother? Good to see you, man.
I'm gonna switch a page. So if you want to
switch it out. So go ahead, Will. I know you've got the story you've been teasing about.
This is a seminal issue for me because I remember picking this up at my comic store and being struck by the fact that they jump forward and Frega's little colorful Frege. I don't know why that stuck out to me. His little Frege,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't
Like
know him
Genesis.
yet at this time. I just thought that was interesting. And so I picked this book and I read it, looked at it, thought it was cool. And the concept of breakdowns and finishes was new to me as a kid. I thought that was interesting. But then I went to the back of the book and I always read the letter section. And in the letter section, it was called the morgue, I think.
Yeah.
And somebody asked, is it possible to get a tour of Extreme Studios? And they replied, if you call us up, we might be nice enough to do that for you. And I said, it's a good fucking idea. So I go home and I get the phone book out when we had phone books.
Yeah.
And I start looking for it and I call information and I get you could just get it from information. 411. Can you give me the number to Extreme Studios on Catella in Anaheim?
Man.
Here you go. I call up and I'm like, hey, I'm just some 12-year-old punk kid. It's going to be my birthday. Can I get a tour for my birthday? And he said, sure.
That's
so I'm like,
awesome.
cool. So me and my cousin, my mom, go down there and we get a tour of the whole place. And we're walking around, and I mean, it's like Disneyland for me. It's like, holy crap.
Right, yeah.
We're seeing everybody. And we got tail into the tour. We go into like the poster room. She loads us up with tons of posters and stuff. And then we're walking out, and we walk in the back where I said where Matt Hawkins was. And we go past Frega's office. And he's like, oh, this is Dan Frega. And he's like, oh, hi, guys. And Frega's always been the type that's going to come out and like greet you and talk to you.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, guys, what's up? And we talk for a little bit. And then as we're walking away, he goes, hey, wait. And he runs out. And he hands me and my cousin a page that he got one and I got this.
Yo,
that is
God
so
bless.
cool. So he just gave that to you because you were going on a tour of Extreme Studios.
Uh-huh. And this is my very first original art page I ever owned. And I'm kind of annoyed because my cousin got the one before this, which was the giant robot like hovering over him.
No.
You want to swap?
Yeah, this is cool because it's an action shot. It's got a cool close up of the robot. So he gave me this, and then he said the immortal words, the famous last words. Go ahead and call me if you want.
Oh, yeah,
you're 12, right? Don't tell a 12-year-old that. Remember, no shame in your game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The next day, I'm calling that motherfucker 9 times a day for 3 years. All day long, I'm calling this dude. You know
what's funny about that, Will, is that's kind of almost like how he got in with Rob. You know, getting that phone call and then just being a passive of calling until he got, dude, that's awesome.
That is beautiful.
And that's so cool. He was just cool enough to give that to you as a kid, making a tour of Extreme. Like that's awesome shit.
Remember, Rob and him touched this page, so this is a Rob and Freya page.
Yeah,
that's right, because Rob laid it out. Yeah. Oh shit, dude, that's awesome.
And so it was like a running joke with the receptionist. That kid again, calling you.
Kids calling again
through just sheer persistence. That finally he said, "Hey man, if you want to come work for me, you can." And then rest is history. And we never stopped talking from then on,
dude.
That's great.
See,
and it was because of this book.
That's so cool.
I love that story, and it's so awesome because I'm so envious, jealous of those kind of situations where you could just get into the industry by that kind of just go there, give them a call, get in there as an intern, whatever, work your way up. And that's just I miss.
And before that, I had tried calling other people. I tried to find Jim Lee in the phone book. I tried to find everybody, trying to get in.
Nice.
And this was my first hit.
That's
cool.
That's so awesome.
So
yeah, is that and the stories of how Dan got in? I'm just like, man, that could have been us, Sean, if we had the initiative, or if we lived out there.
I think that's why they let me come by, and why my mom, went through LA traffic to drive me back for it, because they figure, hey, be up to worse shit at 12.
That's true.
I think we were just like we should have been on the West Coast, and maybe
that's what it is.
We should have been born 5 years
from LA.
earlier.
So.
Yeah, and that's we were on the wrong side of the country.
Yeah, like look, I had Marvel and DC that like a half hour for me, but like fuck that, I want to be an Extreme.
I know. Yeah.
Same thing here. So when San Diego would roll around, back when San Diego was $20 a day, my parents would take me and my homie down to San Diego, drop us off. They'd go to Mexico, hang out with their friends, and they just pick us up on the way back.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's all coming together now. Yeah,
then later on we just stayed in Frega's room because Frega had a room there a lot of the time.
Nice. That's just it's just such awesome stuff. All right, flip to another one. Let's go.
Let me get to something more.
Get to a really, really good one, and then we're getting a little late on the show, and we'll take a look.
Yeah. Excited. This is a great show.
Fun.
Oh, this is phenomenal.
This has been a great show. No, this is it's like, anytime Sean and I get to kind of talk or hear stories about the stuff that I talk about the 90s so much, not just because it's like a shtick, it's just because I have such fond memories of comic books in the 90s, and this is the era of stuff that I love hearing stories from people that are in the industry, and it just gets me so excited.
And
so
just wants to make us create even more.
Yeah,
like this is why Joey and I got into doing art and stuff. Like doing these type of interviews, like just kind of going down memory lane and our excitement and our passions. And so I'm just happy that Will's on where we're talking about everything, and it's just like what this show is made for is like this type of shit. So this is great.
Yeah, hands down.
Oh, this is such great art, man. Look at the noodles, the detail, like the
Very
combination of
friggin'
Rob and Dan.
Very
Yeah.
He used to have that very drippy inking.
Yeah.
Still does, actually. He still kind of has that. He actually has a Photoshop Frega brush where you can replicate that. I used to call it heavy inky. You know, I don't know. It just looks like it's dripping.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful line. Like from then to now, just great. I love this gesture. I love these this is such one of the main inspirations for Type 1 or the opening for it.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, it's the whole like you open in a scene and it's a warehouse and what's the MacGuffin about, and you got to get the MacGuffin and you don't get the MacGuffin, but other shit happens. Then you got to get the MacGuffin down the line. You know, it's kind of comic book making 101. The Ninja Turtles did in their cartoons. Most 80s and 90s cartoons kind of went down that route as well.
Yeah, MacGuffin's a MacGuffin. The point is the action.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to switch, Joe, so you might have to.
All right, hold on a second.
Okay.
There you go.
It's very irritating. They make you do that.
Yeah, this site didn't used to do it, and this is kind of like
it's gotten wonky the past few weeks. This is a great. This is a great panel to.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. We might come to the one where I'm annoyed that my cousin got that one, the robot.
Oh, we'll get there. We might not be able. We're probably not going to do the profit, but like at least we focus.
Yeah, we'll skip the profit for today, but
but like this is important.
Crash. You have that. Did Dre color the whole book or just the cover?
I thought he did the whole thing.
I think it looks like he did the whole thing, but
like Dre's is very talented. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, this is back when they had to do like vectors and stuff like that. I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love, like you said, like that lines that he has. It's.
And do you guys remember when he colored? Frege actually did the inks for the wife swap. Remember Valentino, where he got Youngblood in the wife swap?
Yeah. Yep.
It looked more like a Frege book than a Valentino book because of the inking.
Yeah.
Wasn't didn't they do like a different kind of almost like a Deathblow style with that? With that issue, right?
Shadowhawk.
Oh, what am I thinking of then?
Rob did Shadowhawk 0. Carl laid out
that was
book,
yeah.
And then Rob went in and inked it. Like I remember him saying like he spread it around like his floor in his house, just doing these big, Frank Miller-y gestures and shit. I'm gonna switch.
Because everybody was trying to out Frank Miller each other at that time too. Remember?
Like you could.
Yeah, for sure.
But the balls on them to try it, fucking hey.
Man, Deathblow looked great. Those first.
I was just gonna say Deathblow was Deathblow.
Yeah.
Image or Darker Image, and then the first few issues of Deathblow were fantastic. I would love to see Jim kind of go back and do some more of that stuff.
Well, he did that piece. Remember that just you showed me like about
that just came out. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me blow you up here. Yes,
give me that.
A badass cover.
Yeah,
remember that cool trade paperback they did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever got that. That's awesome.
Remember those original issues had that great Cybernary story with the Manabat.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they did the back. Yeah, the Manabat stuff in the back. Yeah.
Yeah, and shame that he left us way too soon.
Yeah. R.I.P. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. Like that to me, when that came out, there was just something so different, so new that Jim was doing, and it's still to this day, I think, such a beautiful work of art.
Everyone always makes fun of me that I have access to everything.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Look at this gesture. Look at the ribbon just flowing around. Like these effects, all of this. Like this is fucking comic books. Like,
and it was a
that's
fun
how I
mystery
went to
because, like, who the hell is this guy? That was a fun
Right,
mystery.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And we didn't find out till like when they actually went back to the numbering and went down. And you're like, oh shit.
Because they all got the whole team guy, I think, got killed in Extreme Sacrifice, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was I was trying to remember when the team got offed.
Mhm.
Extreme Sacrifice. That was a fun crossover.
My friend has the original pages, the original covers to the trade paperback. So I would scan a lot of his art that he would get. So I got them in my files. I got a lot of
the actual
shit.
art.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
All right, grab another page there. We'll get through this, and then we'll take a look at Meathead.
Well, let me.
And there'll be a lot of. I think we're going to get some more nostalgia points for the Meathead stuff in a minute.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure. Oh yeah.
See, this is so wild. Like this could be its own panel.
Yeah,
then there's this
design.
where you're like, yeah, like it's just so it doesn't work, but it works, and it's fucking awesome. You know.
They shot him in the face.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
this character sort of embodies like the entirety of Rob's design philosophy. Like everything is there except for the chrome.
Yep, he's got the like the G.I. Joe mask with the actual eyes showing through instead of like the white eyes, of like a Deadpool or something. Yeah, you got the pouches, you got the metal, the shoulder pads, the guns. It's classic Rob designs.
Let me find one more, and then we'll get into with Will's book. Let me see.
By the way, guys, wherever you're watching, we got 28 people in the YouTube chat. We have 141 watching all together. So shout out to everybody where you're watching at. Please hit the like button, share it out to whoever's not here. Let them know that we're live. But if you're in the YouTube chat, make sure you're hitting the like button. If you're new to it, make sure you're subscribing, whether you're watching us live or you're watching us afterwards. Make sure, guys, do us a favor and comment on the live streams, comment on our shorts, comment on any of the clips we put out, like those and share those around as well, because that really helps us build this channel, which we are desperately trying to do. And we need your help with it. It all helps with the algorithm. You guys are amazing, like you always are. We appreciate you joining us tonight on Ahrent Stuff.
And more importantly, drop the link to this show into other people's chats.
Yeah.
Tell them we said it's okay. We don't give a fuck what they think regardless. They like us. We're one of the most favorite shows out there. So it's cool. It's cool. But this is the one your cousin must own, I believe, right?
No, is it this one? Yep, that's that one with the giant robe.
So he got this one? Nice.
Yeah. That's such a not dopey, but like a fropey, kind of like a fat robot, but it's so cool, like it's so cool. And now I'm talking like Rob. I gotta look at it.
Shout out to Baz 1500s in the chat. Hail to you,
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Comment on Sean's smooth bald head as well. Oh, it's nice. Sean does have a nice smooth bald head.
Yeah. We're accepting a super chat, so if we get $50, I will shave my head.
And if we get $100, I'll shave my head.
That's what
if we get $150, Zach from the Spawn Review will shave his balls.
Yeah,
so
help
us out, guys. Yeah, help us out.
We're doing it for you. Be grateful.
Yeah, super chats all around. Let's go.
Look at these nicks, these knacks. Oh, it's so good.
Black Hat Cinephile says he prefers shading to cross hatching. I like it all. Depends on the stylistic of whatever the artist is trying to do. But I get, visually wise, I'll take it all. Like it all gets into me. I like how you can see this dude's eyebrows though. I never noticed this before. You can see the thick eyebrows through the mask.
Yeah, it's Cabot.
Yeah.
Paula says he's the one who stole Rob's taco. Now we know. Mystery solved. You need to tell Rob that.
Yeah.
You lost me on the balls, says Twisted. Okay, we'll retract the balls. We'll retract the balls and we'll just do the shaving of the heads. Let's go.
Shaving of the heads. But yeah. But okay, let's do the next page just so we can see Will's page in color.
And by the way, guys, adding to what we were talking about, meeting people, Matt Yackey met Frege and Rob in the line for the freaking Phantom Menace, and that's how he got his gig.
Oh,
Okay?
no shit.
Yeah.
They were bullshitting in the line, and he said, I got my portfolio in the trunk, because if an artist, you should have your portfolio everywhere. Ran and got it, showed it to Rob in the line. He was in front of him, and bam, he got work.
You know, Yackey, there's something about his stuff with Rob where it brings you back to the early extreme stuff, but futuristic, if you will, of the times, because he was doing his Titan stuff, the X-Force.
He was with them a long time.
Yeah. Like Deadpool Corps maybe, but beautiful stuff. Yeah, he's very talented. He makes me sick.
It's just funny that they met each other that way. You know, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So my page is cool.
There's your page.
No, your page is awesome,
Hell yeah,
dude.
it's cool.
Look at that. You get the headshot. You get the
speed lines there.
Speed
you get the
lines.
close up. You get the close up of the robot too.
Yeah, you get that ass.
So you get the ass shot, which is
you get a ribbon. Yo, I would have done it if I got a page with a ribbon. Like ribbons are cool, man. You know,
ribbons are bad. It's a very 90s thing to me, but I love it.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. It's like if you have a character with a ribbon, it's got to be like freaking 3 feet long. Like it has to be. You know,
believe that this page. I mean, there's even some little doodles in the back.
Wait, hold it back up. Let's see.
There's some little doodles back there. I think he was trying to figure out how to do his little gun belt.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
that's cool.
For the new people in the chat, I own the original page we're looking at, which is
sick.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. You get his little close up.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful page.
We would kill for that page. You know what I'm saying?
Just tell us who.
Yeah, just tell us who.
I mean, I've got quite a list, so you don't want to know.
Over 150 people watching all together on YouTube and on X. Shout out to wherever you guys are watching it. I'll say it again. Please go and like wherever you're at. Especially come over to the YouTube channel. I think we got 30 people here in the chat and YouTube. Make sure you smash that like for us. Appreciate you guys.
Smash it.
And tweet out to Rob that we're doing this too, because
Rob.
Yeah,
I lost the weight. Rob, come on in.
Yeah, let him know that we are obviously on stuff in general. This channel, this show, we are great admirers of Rob's. We're great defenders of Rob's. We want to get him on the show one day.
Trying to.
That's always been our big fish goal. That's always been our big fish goal since we started the show back in 2020.
Oh, it's my cousin Rick, not my brother. That has it. I'll give you his address. I don't like him much, so go ahead and go do your work.
All right, cool. Rick, we're going on a road trip.
All right.
I even help you break in.
Oh, geez. All right, let's bring that. So we were talking some very fun Extreme Studios conversations and behind the scenes stories here with Will Perdomo. See, I can't just some way I can't say it right. I got to really focus. Perdomo. Jeez. I want to turn the M into an N. I don't know why.
You can roll your R's for extra points. Perdomo.
I can't even do that. It's horrible. Anyway,
Sean, you're Italian or something. Come on.
I'm a Guinea Mick. I can't say the other one. Spaniard.
Or as they said in The Godfather, well, my what Mick friend?
Yeah. But mostly Mexican, which doesn't make. But it's
I'm sorry.
True.
I'm a Puerto Rican, Scottish, American, white,
maybe
black. There's a lot.
He's black.
Yeah,
no, like I'm like the Hispanic Blade. I got all their powers, but none of their weaknesses. So I got rhythm, and I won't get arrested for crossing the street. And I can say that because I'm mostly Mexican.
And you can eat ghost peppers.
Oh,
Baz is asking if the Dutch miniseries is worth picking up. I can't remember.
Did they?
Wait, the one that just came out? I enjoyed it.
Was it a brand new one? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. There's a cover by Churchill. It's fine.
Yeah, words are hard. That's for sure.
Her mom just mad dogs me when I drive by. I don't know if she's more embarrassed or mad at me. I don't know. So I haven't seen her, but I see her mom all the time, and apparently I was, giving her mom problems according to this psychopath.
Crazy people in this world.
Uh-huh.
Sicilian and Rican. There you go. I'm an eighth.
That's a dangerous combo.
I'm an eighth. I don't know how you break that down. I'm just going to say I'm an 8th Puerto Rican. I am 16th black, and then Scottish, and then, pasty pale white is, I guess, what we'll say.
It's okay.
You could just use Anchorman. You know, I was in love with a woman once. She was Brazilian or something weird.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into this really awesome looking project. I've seen you on bouncing around out there showing this off. Some really awesome art to look at, but why don't you go ahead and dive into Meathead? What are we looking at here?
We're looking at the character Joe, who is a meathead. He's a product of the Meathead program, which is a 1960s Phoenix program, MK Ultra brain malleability procedure to engineer culture, to engineer entertainment. But in the 60s, they were using it to create these terror troops that they unleash on the Vietnamese. That basically run roughshod all over Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War, and they grow this reputation of being these iron warriors that the Americans summoned as these demons that they just dropped on the poor Vietnamese, and they just go on a kill crazy rampage all through the countryside during that war. And Joe is one of these guys, and what ends up happening is that due to his conditioning, he cannot stop unless by the orders of his commanding officer. And during the Tet Offensive, they're fighting. They're involved in an ambush in Way City. All the meatheads are killed, except for Joe, and his commanding officer is mortally wounded. And unfortunately, very cynically, before he dies, he tells Joe, "You know what, man? Kill them all." And that locks Joe into his mission for the next 15 years, stuck in Vietnam.
Oh shit!
You know, just fighting a perpetual war with an enemy that's no longer the enemy, but is still the enemy to Joe. They just put on different uniforms. So where our story begins is the 1980s. You know, communism is kind of dying down, new world order is emerging, and there's no room for monsters still fighting old wars.
That's dope.
The art on this is really awesome.
Jason Krager is the artist.
Yeah, he was in the chat not too long ago. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but great work, man.
Dude, you make us sick, and that's the highest form of flattery we give anybody artistically, because that's
Heard that from many ladies, and I take that as a compliment as a form of I'll take the coping.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm digging this, man. And this is so is this just a sign up sheet? Okay, yeah. So this is the mailing. Yeah.
Yeah, so what this is, I basically stole Joe's idea, Joe Sonntag's idea, where I didn't want to, because I'm financing the book my own. I am trying to finish this 74-page book, but I wanted to get something like now out to people to look at, to kind of sink their teeth into it. So I took a note from you and said, why don't I just create a preview book?
Yeah.
Because me and Krager have the first about 20 pages done, so why not show it to people? You know?
That's awesome.
So what we're gonna do?
This smart guy.
Yeah, it's easy to steal from people and steal ideas. Just call them your own.
Yeah, I know.
So what's happening here? And I'll remind them, Matt LaRock, is we're doing 2 campaigns. So the first one's going to be for the preview book, and it's going to have the first 20 finished pages, lettered, done, and it'll give you an idea about whether or not you want to support the greater project, and you kind of get something for your money. So we're going to have 2 tiers. There's going to be a normal kind of tier where it's like $20, $25. That's going to have a Nick Patera cover, unique to that cover and never be reprinted.
Nice.
And then there's going to be a higher tier one. It's going to be about $50 range, and it's going to have a black metal cover front and back.
Ooh.
So like a gunmetal. I'll kind of show you the mock-up of it so you can get an idea. If I have it, I don't have it handy. I don't want to put you guys, but it's good. That one's going to have a Frege cover. And again, my philosophy for covers is never reprint them. So if you decide you want to support, you get a wholly unique little collector's item out of it. So yeah, and we're gonna yep.
There's Krager. He's in the house.
Dude, you're awesome. This is great. This reminds me of Golden.
Well, and so
artistically, I should say,
is with this book. I'm going to show something off right here in a minute, but with this book, we have a sign-up poster that's going to be done by Jay Gonzo, who did the really cool Moon Knight cover you saw. I don't know if you guys have seen those.
Maybe I'd have to see the image. Yeah, I probably have.
I'm bad
I can't
with
think of it offhand.
names.
Yeah, I'm
He
horrible with
did.
names.
He did the Aliens Paradiso covers. He did these beautiful Ninja Turtles covers that were all like the Sugar Skull covers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay,
He's going to be doing the free poster that comes with this folded poster.
Nice.
However, for the main campaign, I wanted to show this because we've been talking Extreme all night.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to show you the poster we'll be giving away for the main campaign, which is
let's do it.
Because I think you guys are going to really appreciate it in the chat. Here you go. And I'm sharing it, Joe.
Let me bring it up. Oops, hold on a second. I must.
And if you scroll down to who did it, you'll see some interesting names.
Hold on a sec. Okay, there we go. Now
there we go.
Yes.
My mouse was messing up for some reason. It was not reacting, so now we're good.
So do you recognize this cover?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So who did the cover? One Shelby Robertson, and it's colored by our good friend Andrei Kromov.
That's so cool. That's cool. You got Dre to do the colors on.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
That's awesome. Shelby killed this.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it's a good homage.
And if you guys are wondering in the chat, it's a homage to this cover.
Yeah, let me bring it up here.
One of the best comic books ever drawn.
Yes, this was the breakout book he did for Extreme when he came over to the studio after the 4A cover kind of whetted everyone's appetite. This was like the breakout book.
Yeah. Such good times. Craziness.
So I wanted to do an homage to this cover, and the material was appropriate. So I think I love this cover. I have the original art.
Looks badass.
Very, very happy.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
And I think Andre murdered the colors on this. And then here we've got everybody. You've got Joe, our titular character in the center. You've got Quan, who is a character I haven't talked much about. He's a Vietnamese character holding a skinned off face. I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
And then the villain back here, who's Yan Wang, and our female lead, a CIA liaison by the name of Catherine Braddock.
Wow.
So we've got the whole cast here almost.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
That's good.
So I'm glad I was able to show that off. But speaking of which, let's look at one or two pages because
please do. Let's go.
Because of that issue of Platt's book, I shared a couple of those pages. Like, for example, the Vietnam pages in there that had a big impact on me. I would send those to Krager and say, I want something like this. You know, he did it his own way.
Yeah.
Obviously, but maybe you guys can see it. Sorry if I don't have them handy. Let me get the pages out for you guys.
No worries.
Darn it. I just have the...
Yeah. Let me pull you down here and do your thing. Let me know when you're ready. I'll pull it back up.
Yeah, go ahead.
While you're doing that, Smokey, the Concast, are you still doing shirts too?
Yes. The shirts for the main campaign are going to be done by Rob Willis. He's working on that right now. He did the logo that you'll see on the mailing list. That's all Rob Willis did that by hand.
Nice.
He's doing my shirts. Yes. Let me see. Sorry, guys, it's taking so long. I have it here. Oh, there.
No, you're fine. Adversity Arts in the chat says, "What have I missed? Hail, how are you guys? We are doing great, and you missed a whole lot. So definitely go back and watch the show when this ends. I think this is a fantastic conversation. This has been an awesome show.
Yeah,
Well, and this is the cover to the main campaign when we get there. And again, none of these covers will be reprinted. This is going to be the cover that Rob Willis contributed.
Oh, this is going to look good. Let me bring it up here. Oh, it's so sick.
Great scene.
So sick.
Great scene from the book. There's actually taking right out of the book. There's a scene just like this in the book.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yes, I can.
Let's do it.
So here we go. Here's Joe in close up.
Textures.
Nice.
And I like this skull up here he did in the foliage.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
I can see that now. Yeah. I didn't see it at first, but yeah.
And then back here you see the heroin plantation on fire.
That's awesome.
There's a couple scalps hanging on his thigh right there.
Jesus.
And I love the way you did the M60
So
in shadow like that.
Yeah.
he could radiate a page like no other.
Like this, like I love his legs, like just how powerful he made him look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rob is again another artist that makes us sick.
Good guy.
Yeah,
Great guy. He's one of the first people I met in this thing, and he's been a good friend ever since. And I just happened to work with my friends who are freaking good. You know what I
we
mean?
used to have Rob on the show a few times back in the day. We haven't had him on in a while, but he was
Yeah.
always fun to have on the show.
Yeah, awesome dude. Nothing but great things about him.
And so this would be, I mean, it's not done yet, but I mean, this is an older version of this page, but this would be the first page of the book right here. Just give you an idea of where the art is and what it's kind of looking like.
Ooh, that's so
Very
good.
first page.
Oh wow.
So is this going to be black and white then?
I don't know. I think the preview book will be black and white just as an aesthetic choice because I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But the main book is going to be in color.
Okay, I was just going to say because it's so good in black and white. It's almost like it doesn't need color. I'm sure color would enhance it, and I would definitely do both versions. But I would definitely think about doing a black and white version as well because the art, the line work on its own just stands on its own. Yeah, without the colors for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean there's some pretty amazing violence coming up.
Hell yeah.
Just to kind of like I like I said, I don't want to hold up the show trying to get him out of my DMs I have with him, but you guys will not be unsatisfied with the art. The art is some of the best.
No, it looks great. It looks great so far. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you sign up for this and go get the stuff. Go get it all. Support it. I've got a link to the page that we were just looking at. So I got a link to this in the chat. If you go farther back, guys, you'll find it. If I got any mods that want to drop that as well.
That's Matt Weldon, by the way, who did that piece for us.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay,
This
nice.
one right here?
Yeah. I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's
fantastic
so good.
guy, good friend. He's always willing, always helpful, and he did this in like a day. How fast
shit.
that guy is! Yeah, he's
Good
so
Lord.
fast.
Yeah, he's very talented.
That's awesome.
Somebody said in my fiction, Black Hat Cinephile, in my fiction, the U.S. never warred against Korea or Vietnam, and said they went straight after China and Russia. It was called the Commie War and the 20-year war from 1955 to 1975. Well, you're not incorrect. They're just doing it indirectly. You know what I mean? In the long run, you're not incorrect. You just can't do that without taking out Russia first.
Rick Saylor says 10,000% need a black and white.
Indeed, because Krager's, and this is Christian Rossi, by the way, who did this piece here.
This piece, okay, all right.
Another great guy, another old buddy in this thing that is very helpful. He's I'm working on another project with him, so hopefully that'll work out.
Nice.
Nice. But yep. If you're wondering who this monstrous character is, I was
actually going to ask. Yes, I was going to ask.
Put it this way: this is not unheard of in reality when you study mind control, but each meathead is unique in the sense that in order to get what they need out of them, they have to find a traumatic trigger. And Joe is a Native American man. He's an orphan. His father and grandfather were murdered tragically in front of him. And he has this image, sort of like Bruce Lee in the Dragon story, of this demon that kind of stalks his family. So while you have this realistic thing going on around Joe, this war, inside, he's dealing with this creature, this monster, this thing driving him crazy and scaring the hell out of him, chasing him through this war.
Nice.
Because the idea is that outwardly Joe is a monster. I mean, he's a berserker killing machine, but inside he's scared to death. Because all he's seeing is this. All he's seeing is
that. Yeah.
All he's seeing is a hellscape in front of him, populated by monsters coming at him.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I'm excited about this, man.
At all times.
Cool.
I have to impose my fake manager position to Will and have a black and white version and a 24 by 36 poster option for the poster. Yeah, that is definitely Rick's choice in that.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, if there's enough of I'll gauge that interest and maybe add it as a tier as we're doing the main campaign. I mean, I actually made a couple of these. I'm making one for Dre and one for Shelby just as gifts, for their hard work. I'm making a 24 by 36
nice
for them. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see when we get there. I'll show it off and say, hey guys, if there's enough of a reason to roll these separately and ship them to you, cool. Thank
Twisted
you.
Dreams has got to leave. He said, I can't finish the show, but William the book looks amazing and definitely get on this later. And
Thank you.
later, brother. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, we're about to wrap up the show anyway. I just want to let you guys know that over on Well Red's channel, they're going to be doing a review of Reaper Destroyer at 10:30 p.m. and then they're going to have me on at 11:30 for an interview after they do that. The link is pinned up above. If you guys want to go check that out, hit the like button, just jump into the chat, let them know that you're there, and then join us later for that. I think it'll be awesome.
Remember this?
Yeah,
that's a great book.
Not only do I remember it, yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Hells yes.
This is one of the Quantum Leap books where Marat's art went from just a Liefeld clone to something wholly his own. If you remember, his art kind of took a quantum leap.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
If you go to the original Brigade miniseries and then go into the ongoing series, like he started drawing in a slightly, look at that. Beautiful stuff.
When we had him on a couple, like, 5 years ago or so, he's like, you got to think, like, that was a year
so good
between each other. And he's like, my growth was just inevitable. And I'm like, yeah, brother. Like, you don't got to sell me on that. That was awesome.
Yeah, definitely smash that like, guys, wherever you guys are watching. We have over 150 people watching all together. Appreciate you guys. It's been a hell of a show. If you're late to the chat, please go back and watch the show. We had a great discussion. Extreme Studios had some awesome stories from Will, and looked at some cool art as well. And definitely go check out Meathead if you guys get a chance. Will, you want to promote anything as far as where you might be next or where people can follow you before we get out of here?
I just say go hang out with Frega every morning. He's doing Black Flag focus streams, so you can see that book coming along. Go support him and make sure you stay on him and keep him encouraged to finish that damn book and get it to you.
Yeah. Those have been some fun streams. It's fun to see that book. Definitely anticipating it. Black Flag when that came out from Maximum Press.
Follow Jason Krager too, my artist.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So you'll see me much more active in the days to come. I've just been taking a small break.
You gotta do that sometimes, man.
Yeah, we know all about that.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on, man.
Guys,
definitely have to come back and do it again. I think
we could talk.
I think we could talk for hours about not only Extreme, but just anything from that era and when it comes to comics and stuff. And we'll definitely have to do it again. Hopefully sometime soon.
Thank you.
Guys, what is it? It's Thursday. Yeah, it does, sir. Sunday night, 10 p.m. The Ronan Joe show is basically, it's just my solo show. I hang out, I shoot the shit, have a good time. Mondays at 9 p.m. It's a Spawn review. And then the Spurn review, which, by the way, this Monday we're looking at the brand new issue that just dropped yesterday, issue 363. Brett motherfucking Booth did an awesome job.
I guess still.
Okay, I won't spoil anything, but it was a great issue. Go out and get it, and then join us on Monday for the review. And then be back here next week for Odd and Stuff at 8 p.m. on Thursday. We have Dan Chichester coming on, which is always a good time. Isn't what?
I thought it was Michael Ortiz.
Thank you, Smokey. Appreciate it, Smokey.
Let me look.
The 17th is next week, and that's when. If we got both of them on, that's fucking awesome, as far as I'm concerned. Michael Ortiz is the illustrator and co-creator of the hit indie series from the early 90s, Arachnus.
Holy shit.
Yup.
I just had an Obi-Wan moment. There's a name I have not heard in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Holy Mushroom Comics?
Yup.
Morning Star Comics too with the second series.
Yeah.
I'll let you all know. I gotta jump into DMs because there are certain things that haven't officially been like yes to, even though it's been alluded to. So I always need that yes so I can have it in the book. But that's definitely coming up, or in our books, you know. Okay. But it's definitely coming up. We'll let you guys know. But the next couple of weeks are gonna be really fun. Odd and Stuff, 8 p.m. Fun show. Be here. We look at comic book art. We talk to really awesome guests and dive into stories. And it's been a blast this way around. But yeah, Ortiz, we're looking really forward to talking to him.
And in 2 weeks from this Saturday, we're doing the update on the Type 1 campaign. This Saturday, the 26th or 7th, we're going to be throwing more books in the Ultimate 1 tier. We're going to be adding tiers. We're going to be showing off new colored pages from Dan, who's getting them done. And then on May, and then May 8th is our 5-year anniversary.
I still have his album in my garage.
The what?
Oh, really?
His rap album.
Oh, Dan's rap album?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll tell him because he's like, Hey man, do you know that I'm a rapper and a
Yeah, at
producer?
one of Frega's barbecues, he had him in his trunk and he gave me one.
Yeah, he's like, I have over 10,000 rap songs. He's like, you drop my name to anybody on the West Coast, they know who I am.
Does he still talk in that very deliberate voice?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm like, I don't care. Color my pages. But, I love Dan. He's awesome. He's a trip. That's my dude.
Hail, Edwin. Good to see you.
Hey, Edwin.
Yeah, be there for the whatever you want. It's not a relaunch, but the add-on.
Yeah, we're just updating. We're just updating the
yes.
campaign because I need more money. I'm $45 away from $10,000, and my book deserves it. And I'm fucking selfish.
Forget that. Just give me your fucking money.
Cheap.
Period.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Give me your fucking money.
Yeah. We're going to be showing off something. No, I shouldn't show that off. But no, we're going to show off some cool shit. We're going to talk. We're going to have friends on. We're going to do a cool hangout for the afternoon. And it's just going to be nothing but love as we do it here now and stuff. So it's just an excuse for us. Yeah, just excuse to have a good time. So.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. It has been a blast. We will see you on the next shows. Make sure you go and follow people in their links and just support anybody that you can. Support independent comics, support these projects, and join me in about an hour for Well Reds. Go ahead. Yes.
Please follow Adam Lawson as well because Jason Grazer will be launching his other project with him imminently, which is Jawbone Death 2.
Nice.
So
nice.
Watch Adam Lawson, Gifted Rebels, and see when you can get a look at that beautiful piece of work.
Shout out to Adam Lawson. Good guy.
Indeed. Very good guy.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here. I will say this as I always do because I love you all. Be good to each other.
Good night.
Take care of one another. And as always, picture me naked. Talk to y'all later.
Oh, it's cold, I guess.